Well, Jeremy Hansen here from Fox Valley Tech with another segment of Life on the Farm. And today I'm at LondonDairy Alpacas, and this farm has been featured on several segments with WFRV in the last 2 months. But I thought there's more of a story here to tell. So with me today is Kevin Stair, owner of LondonDairy Alpacas. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
No problem. I like talking.
And you know, talking with you about a little bit before, you have a fascinating story before you started LondonDairy Alpacas. Tell me a little bit of where you started out in life.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm fourth generation on this land. My great-grandfather came over in 1884. He had 10 children, and the youngest was my grandfather, and they had one child, and that was my dad. And so here today I stand. Yeah, we actually grew up milking cows, and our claim to fame was we delivered milk door to door. This has probably been an enterprise all along, a livestock enterprise, but the major livestock enterprise that was here before the alpacas was dairy cows.
And before you were actually a farmer, what was your occupation?
Okay, well, my occupation, I was actually an ag teacher for many years. I taught in Michigan, Wisconsin for 11 years, and then I ended up in Green Bay, taught agribusiness up there, taught in 3 buildings a day, and taught there for 11 years.
Let's talk a little bit about alpacas here. You know, alpacas have kind of a short history in Wisconsin, correct?
Right. The first importations came in 1984, so they haven't been here very long. They're very relatively new livestock enterprise, and in the early 90s, they were considered exotics. But we got them classified as livestock, and you can see that we have quite a few of them helping us today. I started with a couple girls and 1 boy, and that was it. And a lot of people didn't even know what alpacas were. In fact, I remember when I wanted to build the big barn over there, talked to some contractors, and I said I want to build an alpaca barn. And the first question is, what's an alpaca?
So let's talk a little bit more about alpacas. I don't think everyone really knows what an alpaca is. Tell me a little bit. You know, they're ruminants, correct?
Right. They are ruminants. They're a 3-compartment stomach instead of a 4-compartment stomach like a cow is. They're a little bit more efficient than cows. Unlike cows that you feed a lot, you try to run through a lot of alfalfa hay into, because the more protein you feed to a dairy cow, the more milk it's going to get. Well, we don't want to do that with the alpacas because that's going to ruin their fiber. So we feed orchard grass here.
Wonderful, wonderful story there. And tell me a little bit about the coloration of them as well.
First of all, I never wanted white in the herd. And the reason I didn't want white in the herd, because white always shows dirt. No matter what animal you have, it does. And I can remember from the kids showing dairy cows. I mean, when they would stain, they'd always stain the white. So we got with the alpaca. I looked into the alpacas more and more and more. And so I started out with a totally colored herd. But the colored came from the Chileans that were shipped in. But then I realized in order to get the density on these alpacas, I needed to breed with the Peruvians that were coming in. So, and the Peruvians were white. In fact, the story goes, the Peruvians were white, and if you were a colored alpaca born in Peru, you were eaten.
Some fascinating knowledge about alpacas, and on next week's show we see how Kevin has expanded LondonDairy Alpacas to an